And we're off.
We're all-
Hello, Kenya Sloan.
Hi, my catcher. It's been a minute.
And hello, listeners out there. Welcome to the 39th edition of the Tennessee USA Wrestling Power Hour podcast. This is your state chairman, Mike Hatcher. And this is, well, I'm still going to consider you the Tennessee USA Wrestling girls national team coach. I will
I
still
did do
consider
that.
that. But we also have a new title for you. So a new head assistant at Sacred Heart University, ladies and gentlemen, Kenya Sloan, here joining us again for her. So we didn't even make it 40. But you know what? I was thinking about this when I was typing up the StreamYard, Kenya.
hmm
Dang, if I wouldn't have missed last week, we could have clipped it right at 40. And then there we go. But you know what? We did all those other ones before I started doing the StreamYard, so it's like we're well over 40.
Oh, that's true. We don't even have an accurate count.
Yeah, you don't get no accurate count. So I'm just gonna call it 40.
That's
I
important.
call
It
it
might
50.
be 50.
You never know. You never know. So yeah, but that's it. But yeah, right now, obviously, during the summer, not a ton to talk about. You know, this is kind of when we kind of get a little bit sporadic with what we got going on for getting off schedule a little bit. People got things going on, and that, it is what it is. But I'm out here right now this week at the USA Wrestling State Leaders Summit. I think it's called State Leaders Convention, State Leaders Meetings, whatever you want to call them. All the state chairman, state representatives come out here, and we chop it up for a couple days, and everything that's going on with USA Wrestling moving forward. Kind of year-end recap. Some things that's going to be changing. Moving forward. Obviously, we just had the Olympics last
Yeah.
week, which was pretty awesome on the girls' side and the guys' side. The guys, did all right. I mean, we could do a whole Olympic recap of that, but I just think the internet's flooded with Olympic
I know.
recap.
That's what I was
You
thinking. But
know,
I was like, if anyone doesn't know how we
yeah,
did the Olympics, they're under a rock.
exactly. First of all, you should have been watching. Whether you woke up early, whether you woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and watched it live,
Yeah, I
or
did.
if you watched it, which I didn't do. I watched it on tape delay. But so a lot of the Browns were, obviously during the middle of the day, so which was nice.
hmm
So, but yeah, shout out to the United States teams. U.S. women's team, great job. 4 medals, I believe, 2
Yeah,
gold,
record-breaking
silver medals.
year for us, for
Awesome.
the girls. Yeah.
Congratulations to Terry Steiner and his crew, always killing it. And then
Yeah.
congratulations to the men's freestylers, they did well as well. Spencer Lee, silver medal. That nothing. I mean, I know how it all works. Everybody wants gold. That's what they come for. But man, you're getting silver in the Olympics, bronze medal, Kyle Dake.
Yeah, you're not doing too bad.
Listen, man, come on. Come on. It's Olympics for crying out loud. So, but yeah, if you want to watch a wrestling recap or Olympic recap, I would strongly suggest. What is going on with my hair today, Kenny?
It's
All right,
great.
I know. All right, well, lucky at my age.
I said it's great. You said I know.
Yeah, lucky at my age, I still have it. Anyway, yeah, I mean, if you want an Olympic recap, there's I don't know how many of them out there. So listen to how they're doing. We're here to talk some other stuff,
Yeah,
right? Cool.
exactly.
All right. Well, other than what we're going to be talking about with your new position here moving forward, Kenya, what else? What's been going on with you the last couple weeks?
Man, the last couple weeks have been crazy. You took the blame for us not jumping on last week, but last week was crazy for me too. So
Been a
I
little
let you
difficult,
take
huh?
it, but I was like, oh, it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing too crazy. Obviously, made a big move. So a lot of my life the past few weeks has just been that wrapping up some stuff with my club in Tennessee, which is
Mhm.
like super bittersweet, and saying my goodbyes. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like anyone who's been coaching for a week or for 20 years like knows how quickly you form
Oh yeah.
bonds with the kids that you're teaching and coaching. So, man, for that like part of my life to be such a short-lived season was like kind of heartbreaking, but I know that leaving is definitely when I come back, I'll be able to like contribute so much more and be better at what I do. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm telling myself, at least, hopefully. But so yeah, it's just
Oh,
been wrapping up things with my club and then packing up my little car and moving out here.
rolling out. I know. That's what if people probably wondering what you're doing the podcast from a car a couple of weeks ago.
That's true because you couldn't say anything yet.
I know.
Yeah,
Because
because you can see like
went
all
out.
of my
You're like,
belongings.
oh yeah, it's just I don't know. Maybe she's moving down the road or something. I don't know.
Yeah, taking a road trip with everything that she owns in her vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
that's what I was doing.
Well, cool. Good. Sounds like a good couple weeks then. Awesome.
Yeah, what's been
Not
going
much
on in the life
longer.
of
Uh,
Coach Hatcher?
just
You guys had your
with the camp. We
camp,
had that
yeah?
the camp going on. It was awesome. I mean, last year I think we had 150 some kids. This year we had, if we didn't hit 180, we came pretty close. So it was good. I mean, the coaches and the clinicians, everybody that we had coming in this year were just fantastic. Kids that came in did a great job. We had over 20, I think it was 22. We ended up with like 22 different states represented. So it was great. And it was really cool too. Was we not only had obviously like Coleman Scott. Well, he used to be a college coach, but now he's the RTC coach at Ohio State. Like Luke Becker, Minnesota coach. You know, just Division One college coach. But we also had a lot of people, or a lot of either coaches, connections, kids that were wrestling, or whatever, from University of Pitts Johnson. Just with Jody's connection there and so forth, that came down for the camp and helped out with the camp on a daily basis. And they actually found a lot of kids in our camp that they actually are actively recruiting now. So
That's awesome.
starting from the
Man.
camp. So yeah, so I mean, like I said, man, I mean, not only do you come for, I mean, obviously
Learn.
great technique and the training, but if when there's college coaches there, I mean, you've got to show up. I mean, you just do. I mean, if you have other things to do, and then I mean, I don't understand that mindset. Really don't. So, but either way, no, it was great. It was awesome. Obviously, that was a super busy week. Last week, this past week, since the camp got over, I mean, it's just been crazy. I mean, I obviously I was getting ready for. I mean, because I'm here for a couple days, um, for the USA Wrestling meetings. This weekend I'll be in Las Vegas seeing some friends of mine for a couple days, and then I'm going straight to Europe. So, and I'll be in Europe for 2 weeks. And I do know that I'm going to Croatia. That I do know.
You don't know where you're going other than Croatia?
Yeah, I'm flying into Split, Croatia. It's just
Okay.
I've always wanted to go to Croatia, so I'm I couldn't be more excited to go to Croatia. So I've always wanted to go to Split, Croatia, or actually I just want to go to Croatia in general. Split's the spot that you can kind of island hop and all that stuff, which would be right up my alley. And then I have a flight on I want to say the second, yeah, second, coming back from Oslo, Norway. I've got some friends in Oslo, Norway,
Yeah.
and everything in the middle of there between the whatever 2 weeks between those two flights. I don't know.
Figuring out as well.
Yeah, figured out. Portugal is
Wherever
a
the
place
wind
I wanna go.
blows.
Portugal is if I were a betting man, which I'm not, but if I were a betting man, I would 100% put some good amount of money that I'll be in Portugal at some point in time during those 2 weeks. So, but I will be in Croatia and I will be in Oslo because I've got friends in Oslo that I want to see. Other than that,
There you
I
go.
don't know. I don't know. I might end up in Greece.
Wherever the wind
I
blows
stay,
you.
I might stay in Croatia. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. 100%
That's the best way to do it sometimes, I feel like.
the way to do it. When I went to Europe last time, that's exactly what we did last time too. Me and my brother and a real good buddy of mine flew into Barcelona and Ibiza, flew out of London for the Olympics, everything in the middle. I don't know. Just figured it out.
This
We
is
ended
how
up,
you live. The few
yeah,
times I've tried to make plans with
oh,
you for like a concert or something, I was like, "Oh, when are we gonna get our tickets?" He's like, maybe morning of, night
yeah,
before. Like, we'll figure it out."
exactly.
And I'm like, "What? There's no plan?"
No, no plan, no plan. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I know we when we flew in over there last time, like I said, Barcelona, we wanted to go to Barcelona and Ibiza. We knew that for sure. And then we wanted to go to the Olympics at the tail end. So in between then, we ended up in Milan, Rome, Prague, Amsterdam, and then that's it, London.
So it all happened, even though you
Yeah.
didn't plan.
We were planning on going down the south of France. That never happened. So you took a detour, went to Rome.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's cool. But yeah, but that's about it. Just I getting all my loose ends tied up because we have I fly back on the 3rd, and the 4th we start practice. Actually, the morning of the 4th, Wednesdays are always my busiest day. I have my networking group. I shot my BNI group in the morning, Wednesday mornings. Best BNI group in the whole southeast part of the country, or it might be the whole USA. I don't know.
BNI
Be
group.
awesome. And yeah, I got a networking meeting at 7 a.m. on the 4th.
And you're not going to sleep.
Oh, I'll go to sleep. I think I get back in at like 7. So
Oh, there you
then
go.
I get up next morning and
And then hit the ground running.
that's it.
How better to prepare for a busy day other than a trip?
Exactly. Yeah, why not? So, but yeah, but I'm here in beautiful Colorado. I mean, I'm not I'm a beach guy, as everybody knows. But tell you what, a couple days in the mountains ain't all bad. Yeah,
You can't not love those Rocky
I
Mountains.
know.
I saw your posts and I was just like, don't hate on them. They're glorious.
No, it's fantastic here. I mean, like I said, it's perfect. I come out here for this every year and see a lot of good friends of mine, obviously, that are the state chairman around the country,
Hmm.
and get to spend a couple days in the mountains, which is good for me. I mean, and yeah, it's nice. So I like it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
So I'm just looking forward to it. But yeah, a lot of good stuff discussed already. I mean, it's just it continues to be. Now we're getting into more of my side of this conversation here, this for the podcast, but more our US the USA wrestling, not only our Tennessee USA wrestling program, but the USA wrestling program in the United States is just really crushing it. I mean, they're just it's things are really. I mean, our membership is through the roof. Like, I took some pictures of some slides that we had at our first meeting today, and I mean, our 2024 numbers are just really kind of staggering. I mean, it's crazy from a membership perspective. I mean, we added 40,000 athletes from last year,
Wow.
and yeah, and since 2020, we've added almost 100,000 more athletes. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what do
Yeah,
you guys like contribute to the growth of our sport? Like
I
our
just I don't know. I mean, I think that I think when you all, I mean, I know there's other organizations out there, and I'm not knocking any other
Right.
organizations,
Yeah.
but really, when you start looking at it, I mean, what you're getting, in our membership for one, and this is all stuff that I learned. I learn a lot when I go to these meetings here or they're in Fargo. I mean, just the bang for the buck that you get with our card alone, from an assurance
Hmm.
perspective, is just that's outstanding. And then just I think the whole organization, how it supports the Olympic movement, all the money goes back into the wrestling side,
Right.
whereas other organizations, who knows where it goes to, maybe different sports. That's I mean,
Hmm.
and that's just the way they're structured. AAU structured to where I think the money goes back into. I mean, it's AAU organization, which is a lot of different other sports, or just a separate entity that where it just goes right into the tournament organizer's pocket. So this actually goes back into the Olympic movement, where we have where we fund our whole U15, U17, U20s, boys and girls world teams. Obviously, everything getting prepared for Olympic Games, World Championships on a yearly basis. So I think a lot of people are recognizing that, and I think that's also the grassroots part of it all. I mean, there when we come here, not only when we're here, but in Fargo as well, and like any type of meetings where state chairmen are present, in big numbers like this.
Hmm.
All of our national governing body, whether it be the board of directors, whether it be the national team staff or whatever, they're super, super thankful, just because for the state chairman, because really, essentially, I mean, we do play a big role in this, and this is, I don't get paid for this. I mean, this
Right.
position cost me money. It's cost me money all 12 years or so I've done it. But I mean, but I also look at the growth in Tennessee USA wrestling, and I look back at it when I very first started really getting involved, and we had about 900, a little over 900, if that, members, and now we have over 2,000.
Hmm.
I would like to think that I played a little bit of part of that. I
Maybe a
mean,
little bit,
I
just
mean, well,
some.
I mean, not it's not all, they're not all like Wrestling USA Wrestling because of me, but hopefully the people that I brought around in the board of directors, maybe how I conduct myself, or just whichever. I mean, I would like to think I played a part in that, but I know it's a lot of it was is our board of directors is what makes our whole. And I'm just speaking from our state organization, makes our whole state organization go around. Way too many people in the state have my phone number. It's crazy because I get text messages left and right about whether it's a USA Wrestling related, whether it's this, whether it's getting in track wrestling. I don't know what. It's just crazy. And a lot of the things that they text me about, I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea, but that's a board decision. I can't. I don't run the show. I have to literally get the board to vote on this. It has to be their idea as well. I can make suggestions. I can throw it up for a vote. But if at the end of the day, if they don't want to do it, they don't do it. So, yeah, I mean, I think just, having very, very strong boards throughout the country, and people that are passionate about doing stuff from a volunteer perspective, because there's very, very few states where the board of directors are paid. In here, this is
Hmm.
really strictly a volunteer organization. So, and that's not only in the state of Tennessee, but that's really nationwide. I know some states do have some positions that are paid. We're not there yet. We don't have that type of money yet, and I would never ask for compensation when we can't even send a 16U boys team to
Yeah.
the national duels. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of a lot. Plus, I think that they're doing a good job as far as like um, bringing like our elite athletes to the forefront, and they're also, they've done a great job with the on the financial end with I mean, it's now it's the top freestyle wrestlers. Let's say the freestyle wrestlers for sure. I don't really know as much on the Greco side because I don't think that they're nearly as heavily involved in the RTC perspective of it. But I know that the freestyle wrestlers, especially the higher echelon ones, are making a really, really good living. They really
Mm-hmm.
are for the first time in a long, long time.
Yep.
Whether it's winning medals at the worlds and Olympic level, or if it's just going and involved in an RTC, they're paying them pretty good money to stick around and to help with that type of that level of yeah, development. So
Yeah, which is
a lot
so
of
important because I mean it gives your 6-year-old kid something to strive for,
yeah,
right? There was a point where like you could want to wrestle and be as good at this sport as you want to, and your mom and dad are going to look at you and be like, son or
mhm.
daughter, this
Oh
sport
yeah,
doesn't take you anywhere, right?
oh yeah,
But that's not really the case anymore. So
yeah,
that's like super important, I think.
yeah. I think everybody's just playing their part, and plus I think a lot with I think there's the whole club spike, the whole club boom, has really helped out a lot because
Mhm.
obviously, I mean, the club coaches not only want to provide a great product for their athletes and their their kids and stuff, but they're competitive, and they know that. I mean, the best kids wrestle freestyle and Greco. They just do. That's the way it works. So whether you're a state association like ours is an AAU association with and from the grassroots Pee Wee folk style level, but listen, if you want to do it at a high national level now, you have to be wrestling the freestyle Greco in the Olympic styles. You just have to. If you don't, I mean, your chances like significantly diminish.
Right.
Because it's just because kids are out there, they're doing it year round, and the
Hmm.
only thing going on in the spring and the summertime is the Olympic styles. So done at a high level. Let's just put it that way. So I think that has a lot to do with it as well. So, but yeah, everybody's just kind of doing their part, and yeah, it's really cool to see. I mean, because not only when you see membership popping up that much and those type of that's just in athlete numbers alone, but I mean, wrestling leaders, same type of thing. I mean, they're up consistently. Clubs, I mean, there's over 1,000 more clubs now than there was in 2020. I mean, just total members, like total, like I mean, with all the wrestling leaders and all that type of stuff. I mean, 2020 it was 231. I mean, probably a little bit more. A telling tale would be 2019 at 250,000 total members. Now we have almost 350,000 members. So I mean,
Well,
that's really because that 2020 year was a COVID year, so it was a
right.
little bit the numbers are a little bit different. But when you have more numbers when it comes to participation, but then you also have bigger numbers in your regional tournaments and your national tournaments and all these other stuff. And you see these now. I mean, they were talking about the I think it's the Southern Plains regionals that they host in Kansas. I mean, before that used to be like it literally like used to be a tournament that had 800-900 kids, and now this past year they had over 2,000. So I
Well,
mean, yeah. So it's like these regionals are starting to have to kind of look for different venue changes and schedule changes, stuff like that. So we're really adjusting on a lot on the fly, and there's going to be some big adjustments. People are going to be really excited about some of the things that are going to be coming out of USA Wrestling here in the next 3 to 5 years. Probably a lot of them are coming into play this next year, which is going to be really cool. I mean, but yeah, it's gonna be it's already I think a great product, and it's gonna become a better product, here, especially starting this next year, and then carrying on to where their vision is going. So, and one thing that people don't understand about the uh, what's it called I mean the USA Wrestling and like the whole like Olympic movement when you talk about all the sports is
mhm.
like USA Wrestling is like the leader of all these different like governing bodies. I mean here in Colorado Springs. I mean people understand that. I mean so USA Wrestling is almost like the pinnacle of like all the other Olympic movements. I'm looking up to like an organization saying, you know what, we kind of want to do things like that they're doing up there. So how they're structured and stuff. And I mean, no organization is perfect. I'm not saying USA Wrestling is perfect. No organization is perfect. I think we got a pretty good thing going. And look for there's going to be significant growth in our in just the whole USA Wrestling side here. Just with a lot of they're looking at I mean with the growth of membership. I mean just the infrastructure here that we have. I mean
Mhm.
our state services director Tony Black has been here for God, I don't even know. I'm guessing 15 years, and he's
Mhm.
awesome. I mean, Tony. is he is just a rock star. But he is like he is pulled in so many different directions. It's crazy, So he's got to have a staff. I mean, their staff here has to at least like increase by, I would think, a third.
I will say it has always blown my mind. Like my first time kind of getting a peek into USA Wrestling, like headquarters and everything that happens in Colorado Springs, and you
Mhm.
realize how small the team is of people who make like this big grandiose thing
Yeah,
happen. I mean, it's kind of amazing just within our state, but then when
yeah,
you realize that that's happening in every other state and all of those are like led by like an office full of people, that
hmm
was it is kind of like surreal and crazy to think about how like much the USA Wrestling like national organization is like getting done with just their little team.
yeah. It is. It's crazy, especially with those type of numbers and that membership. But there's also a lot of help, especially now and from the developmental end, from the RTCs now. I mean, there's very little like development that comes out of Colorado Spring. Not like they have a ton of like housed members or housed athletes here. I mean,
Right.
let's just look at it. I mean, they're all training at different RTCs around the country. It's just the
That's
way it
true.
works. So, but yeah, just this little, like you said, like this little
Yeah.
office and all these people. Yeah, but now that office has got to get bigger. They're actually looking at building on, adding on like physical structure to the office. Obviously, because there's going to be a whole tech side of USA Wrestling that's coming down here within the next year, and that's going to take more hires and people getting involved there, and it's just a lot more staff. So they're gonna have to put them somewhere. Can't give them a MacBook and tell them go to the parking lot and start getting to work.
Go
So
to the parking
yeah.
lot.
So yeah, so it's pretty exciting. I mean, it's pretty exciting. They're yeah, there's a lot of things, good things moving forward and looking forward. It's gonna be good. Yeah, so things are looking good. But just a plug, for what's going on here as far as memberships are concerned. Um, on August 23rd, that'll be the opening of membership season. So all of you that need USA cards,
Soon.
August 23rd is. I know it used to be like September 1st, but now they've kind of kicked it, up a little bit earlier, just because there's certain events, right there that needs, some USA chartering and stuff like that. So they just bumped it up to uh, August 23rd. And I think they did that last year as well. So yeah, August 23rd, make sure you guys get your cards and good to go. You Young Guns Nashville athletes, make sure you guys are doing that beforehand because we do start practice on the 4th. Just to plug there. But just a reminder of like what the requirements are when you buy a USA Wrestling membership. So if you're required to member, so if you're required to wrestle, you're going to need the appropriate athlete membership, and that's that's just what you're going to need. You're going to need the athlete membership, and then whatever one they get the high powered one where you get a kind of card and all that type of stuff. Don't necessarily need that, but you're going to need the athlete membership. If you're for coaching, you're going to need the wrestling leader membership. Okay, so that's the requirement. You're going to have that. You're going to have to have background check. You're going to have to do the safe sport, all that type of stuff. So make sure that you're doing that, with enough time for all that stuff to come, because it does take a little while to get back. And then to be an official, you need the wrestling leader membership, the event volunteer membership, and athlete membership for any of those that are 18 years of age and below. So obviously, if you're above 18, you don't need that. You just need the event volunteer membership and the wrestling leader membership. 18 and under, you need to add that athlete membership as well. So that's the requirements right there for USA Wrestling. But yeah, we had a great year, Tennessee. I think we're getting better every year. And yeah, I couldn't be prouder of not only the athletes and coaches and club owners and whoever else we have involved in our organization, but of course, like I said, my the board of directors that we have is they're awesome. I love them all, and I'm so blessed to you know call myself the state chairman and being able to have being backed up by such a great board of directors, wanting to do good for our kids in Tennessee. So it's good stuff. So there you go. That's my shout out, my plug for Tennessee USA Wrestling and USA Wrestling in general. Looking forward to a great upcoming season this year. And yeah, we got 2 USA Wrestling events coming up this fall. We have the girls Who's Number One coming up again. That's going to be, I believe, September 15th, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds
This
right.
is it's
Okay.
I know Justin Jordan's going to put that on again. He's going to
Mhm.
14th Saturday. He's going to put that on again and get those lineups all taken care of. That'd be at Brentwood Academy again. just like it was last year. In the boys' side, we're still locking that down. It's going to be in October sometime, I believe, late October. But yeah, we've got one area that's bidding on it right now, and yeah, should be two great events coming forward, and that's that.
That's something to
So
look forward to.
you got it, absolutely. So now we're going to switch gears. The more important part of the episode.
I don't know. Given this is your Tennessee USA wrestling
But
podcast, it might be
for those
helpful.
of you, for those of you that don't know, for those of you that have been under a rock in the last couple of weeks, um, my amazing co-host and I would consider her a good friend of mine now because
That's nice of you.
yeah, we've been chopping it up about every week for the last over a year now. So has gotten a new position, Sacred Heart University head women's coach, and couldn't be more proud of her. So Kenya, tell us what's up. What's going on? How did all this? How did this come down? What I kind of know. I've been
Yeah,
dreading.
you do kind of know. I think it might have been the first. I probably told you about this before I told my
Yeah. Well, there we go. See, I know where I said.
Yeah, friendship is a good word for what's been going on. But yeah, how did this all come about? First of all, I feel like I've said this on the podcast a million, probably like one too many times, but coaching was like not on my radar as a career
Yeah,
path, like at all.
I know.
Um, and I moved to Tennessee. Before we moved to Tennessee, actually, I guess I kind of got roped. Arguably, this is all because of you, Hatch, because
Yeah,
before I even moved back to Tennessee, I kind of got roped back into like wrestling a little bit,
yeah,
doing the show. And
yeah.
then, of course, I moved home and I have a few people know that I'm at home and they're like, hey, you coach anywhere? So I said, I'm like, I'll come hang out for a little bit. And then
Yeah.
I meet some young ladies that I just really adored and wanted to be able to pour into more outside of their high school program.
Oh, shoot. Where you at? There you go.
We
There we
good?
go. Back. We're back.
Okay. How long ago did I cut out?
Say what?
How long ago did I cut out? Did you hear what I was saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we got an echo
Uh-oh. On my end or yours?
on.
Like when I speak?
Yeah, I think it's on. It's your. I'm not sure.
Let me unplug my
It's when you lock back.
mic. Let's see if that's better. Is this better?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's better. That's better. Yep. Perfect.
Okay. I'll just leave mine. Can you still hear me okay though?
Oh yeah. Real clear.
Okay. So yeah, transitioned into helping out in high school, then started wrestling or started doing Knoxville Girls Wrestling Club and was having a lot of fun. And I started to realize like, okay, I think I'm going to be coaching for a while, but I definitely wasn't looking to go anywhere else. I was just having so much fun being home and in Tennessee, and obviously our community that we have. Locally in Knoxville on our girls side, it was growing so big, but the community we have like as in Tennessee, like wrestling and USA wrestling is just amazing. So being able to travel and coach the national team is making me more excited. And I just started to realize like, yeah, I think I'm going to be coaching for a while, but definitely thought it was going to be on the local level. I had, of course, when I graduated, a few people reach out to me about like GA positions, assistant positions, but I was just like, no, I'm not coaching I'm not coaching after I'm done competing. So no, never really thought about it. And then after things are going really well, a few months into coaching in Knoxville, I had an old friend of mine who was actually my assistant coach at Campbellsville for 2 years. Paulina Viega reached out to me and was like, hey, so I see that you live back in Tennessee now and you've been coaching. And I think she's just like reaching out to me as a friend to like see what's going on in my life. And I'm like, yeah, it's going great. They start telling me about the club. And I'm just like, without her even having to like pry, I'm just like pouring my heart out about how much I'm like loving coaching. Yeah. And then she just threw it at me. She's like, well, I'm in need of an assistant coach. And I was just like, oh, well, that's cool. Like thinking she's going to tell me some people that she's thinking about hiring. And she's like, do you remember what I told you whenever I left Campbellsville? And I was just like, I don't really know. And she was like, I told you that if I could ever have you on my coaching staff, wherever I was, that I wanted you to be there. And I was like, oh, like, that's nice. And so it like took me a long time to realize that she was being like, hey, Kenya, would you like to come coach with me? Yeah. Because it just wasn't something that I was thinking about doing. And I knew that she knew that. So Paulina Viegas started this program at Sacred Heart University. It's up here in Connecticut. She started this program 4 years ago now, was their inaugural year. Was a big deal because whenever she started the program, she also became the first female head coach for wrestling in the D1 wrestling scene. So she's like she didn't start the first program, but she was the first female head coach for a D1 women's wrestling program. So it was a really big deal. It was groundbreaking. She's done absolutely amazing with this program. And it seems like for me, obviously, for me to like uproot and leave, this like I knew was the most perfect thing. It was perfect timing.
Mhm.
This is somebody that I luckily have gotten to know Paulina and Coach Viega for a while because she was my coach, and then we were friends, and so I know what kind of program that she is like wanting to run, and I knew what her expectations were,
Mhm.
and I knew that it was something that for me to come and be able to coach alongside her and underneath her, even if this wasn't like a super long term thing, it was so hard to say no because I'm like I'm so new into the coaching scene, like I'm figuring it out step by step, which is like a great thing.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden I'm being presented with an opportunity to go learn from like one of the best coaches, I mean female coaches in our country in my opinion. And it was just so hard to say no because once I started to realize it's something I'm going to do, I'm like, well, if I'm going to do it, I might as well be good at it, so let's
Mhm.
go learn from someone who's really good at it. And so it was great, the school. So yeah, that's kind of how it all came to be, just like
Wow.
one thing fell into my lap at a time, and now I'm here in Connecticut.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, when you had first mentioned to me that they were trying to poach you, and I was like, my first thought was like, dang it. That's my co-host y'all are coming after. It's our national team coach. It's like, such a great job in Knoxville. Just got this club. Because I know that if you continue to do the Knoxville Girls Club, I mean, you continue to crush it. And the impact that you would make, not only in that area, but just the state of Tennessee, to where we all have to catch up from a girls club level. I mean, yeah, I mean, it would have been a huge impact. But at the end of the day, but I thought about it from my own perspective as well. And I remember when I first started coaching,
Mhm.
when I first started my first coaching, job was in high school. I was a high school coach and teacher for 10 years. And when I was first presented with my first college job after 2 years of being the club coach in Cleveland, um, Heath Esslinger, he said, "Hey, I got the UTC job. I want you to come with me as my volunteer assistant. Love to have you, but it is a volunteer position." I was
Right.
I was literally like the only Division 1, like straight up true volunteer coach at the Division 1 level, because
Man.
all my money was. He said, "But I'll give you a room and you can run your club out of there." So okay, good enough. Let's do it. So
Yeah.
I was just fortunate. I had my other business as well, so it was all good. And but at the end of the day, I was really making no money. So I remember the sacrifice that you had to make. But when you coach at that level, it's just not that it changes you as a coach, but I mean, but you're seeking out like the elite level of women's competition. That's in coaching at that level. I mean, and that's when you coach there, you're going to know what it looks like to be successful at that level, not only from an athlete's perspective, but a coach's perspective. And when you know what it looks like, and now it doesn't matter where you go from there, you have a model in your head. You know what it looks like. And when
Right.
you're in a program and it doesn't look like that, then you got to figure out how to make it look like that. And that's just honestly,
Exactly.
that's what coaching is. That's what coaching is. That's what being a part of a program is. When you know what it looks like and it doesn't look like that, then you better figure out on how you're going to raise the bar and get it to where it's as close to replicating that as possible. And yeah, I couldn't be prouder of you. I think you're going to kill it there. I think that I would love to have you back here in Tennessee at some point in time. But the way that women's wrestling is growing right now, I mean, you're literally like, I mean, how many Division 1 programs are there out there? It's you guys, Iowa, and
Four.
four. It's four. You're like one of probably 10 Division 1 college women's wrestling coaches. 10. So now, once there's 20 programs out there, I mean, who knows? You're probably going to be running one of them at some point in time. I mean, because you're like literally, when you talk about being on the ground level of
Yeah.
something that literally, in my opinion, is probably going to explode at any year now. I mean, shoot. I mean, you're in a great situation there. Great
I
situation.
think so. I
Yeah.
think so. And it's good to learn exactly how you were saying, like,
Mhm.
whenever you're a part of a program that's good and successful, and then any other program that you're a part of after that, like your goal is to figure out how do I make this look like this.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's truly a big part of what this is for me. And also for, I mean, all the girls, young women, student athletes that are coming through this program, right? I would like to be a part of creating a room and an environment and a culture that has such a high standard and just is of such good quality that when they graduate and pull a Kenya, right? They graduate college and go back to their hometown and they want to help the women or young girls that are, growing up into the sport where they're from, that now they've got this like standard that they're trying to make their room look like. And then from the ground up, right, we are making, we just saw, we had a record breaking year up for the Olympics for our females, right? And so just to think about like it's such a big picture conduced into like a small little thing that I like get to feel like I'm a part of. But exactly what you're saying, like if I get to be at the highest level and help make these women,
yeah, give me 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Yep.
That's funny.
Housekeeping.
Oh, it was housekeeping.
Yeah, housekeeping.
They could have came and been part of our podcast.
Made part of the podcast. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a great perspective though on looking at it.
Yeah, and it keeps it exciting. I mean, and even at the ground level, I knew that I was a part of that. But being able to see it from a bigger picture now and see, like you said, like to be a part of one of 4 D1 programs, like this is going to be, the model, right? This is what people are looking up to figure out how they should run their other college programs or their high school programs or their girls club programs. And for me to be on the cutting edge of that, I know like wherever I end up next, I'm excited and I know I'll be better for it for being here at Sacred Heart. So, and let me tell you that not just because they're a D1 program are they the model, but this program and what Coach Biega has done at Sacred Heart and what she's built is, I've been in a lot of rooms and I've been in a lot of female wrestling rooms. And it's just so cool to be able to see like from where I started to see programs like this, where it's not just like, in Knoxville, I was happy just to have girls in a room together, right? Yeah. Like, hey, we're really creating something just because we have girls training in the same room. But then to be able to see like the evolution of like what is here and that it's like, they mean business, right? It's not just a program.
Oh yeah, no, that's yeah. It's not. It's now a job to them. It's totally different athlete you're getting now. Totally different. Nothing against the ones before, but totally different athlete.
No, yeah, it's different, and so I'm just excited to be a part of it. And Tennessee, whenever I end up back home, right? Tennessee will always be my home. I'm happy to like bring this standard and expectation back. So.
Well, the thing is too. This just opens so many doors for you. Not that you're not incredibly marketable the way it is, just because not only you're a great wrestler, you great personality, just you get bright future, you super sharp, all that type of stuff. You got all those intangibles. But
keep
now,
going.
Yeah, there you go. Keep going. There we go. Case in point. But you're at a program where it's just you and her right now. That's right. Just the two of you on staff. Yeah. So literally, you're going to have days where like, can I just be a wrestling coach again? Can I please just like go in there and just show someone how to grab somebody's leg? Because right now I did everything except for that today. I had to make sure 4 girls were on class on time. I had to make sure that I was at this administrative meeting. I had to do all my recruiting calls. I had to do all this. I had to go to a fundraiser today. And then I didn't get to teach one high crotch today. It's just, telling you.
This is me now, right? We don't have any athletes on campus, but I've still been in the office every day.
Every day.
All day.
And you have any, then you got to wrap it into like your competitive your scheduling. And then then it's your preparation for your duels and your prep for this. So it's your film. It's like, it is insane. Like the amount of, especially when you have a staff of 2. I remember when we had a staff, it was me, John Cerritos and Todd Shavrin at Cal Poly our first year. It was just the 3 of us. We didn't even have a volunteer coach. We just didn't hire one. We didn't fill it. It was just, and I couldn't even recruit. Wait, no, actually, I could recruit it then. It was like, it's just an insane amount of time and effort and just everything that goes along with running a program like that. So, but that's just going to give you so much practice in so many areas that you never would have gotten if you would have just continued to, to stay and run a club. And I would have loved for you to stay and run your club. That would have been awesome. Or if you'd have been a high school coach. There's a lot of things with high school coaching too, as well, that you have to let people to understand, on a daily administrative basis. But there's a lot of things that like at the college level, especially with being a Division I program, and nothing against the other programs, but again, it's a lot stricter at that level than it is at the other levels. It just is.
Oh, so much.
It's a magnifying glass.
I make myself laugh with all the conversations I'll have with calling
compliance.
Like,
Compliance. My God.
Exactly. I'm like, well, why don't we just do this? And she's like, no, you can't do that.
What do you mean? We have to go there. Well, I
Yeah,
know.
I've had a few compliance meetings, not bad ones, just like trying to learn what I can and can't do.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I remember the first time I was on, like literally, like officially on staff at a Division I college program, and that was at Cal Poly because at Chattanooga I was a volunteer coach. I did whatever I want.
right.
I'm like,
True.
I was just there to run practice, and that was my job there. I went to Grand Canyon for 1 year. I was a club coach there and it was the NWCA club. It wasn't. It was like, and that's, you talk about Wild West. Man, I could do whatever I wanted to there. And I went at Cal Poly, and here I am, like 40 some years old, and Serena's like, okay, you
It's
got to
like
take this
learning a whole new world.
compliance test. I'm like, what? Compliance test? What do you mean compliance test? Because you have to. You're actually on staff now. You're like, you're on staff. I'm like, geez, what happened to the Wild West days? Those are fun.
Yeah, I
Those are better.
know.
I like those better.
I
Study
know.
tests. Come
That's
on.
kind of how I felt in NAIA, even though I wasn't coaching, but it is a world of difference.
Yeah,
It really
it
is.
is. It is.
But I don't know. And that I would also like say to the athletes who um I think it was my perspective on college recruiting was so different because my only experience had been through NAIA for college.
Yeah.
And so I think this is offering, I'll hopefully be able to offer more later on. Who knows if it'll be
Yeah.
on a podcast or something. But I'm just realizing that some of the advice I think I was giving to young girls, not that it wasn't valid, but I just want to encourage like young girls and young men, young women and young men who are like their goals to wrestle in college to know and be aware of like some of these rules yourself, like, because you're not going to get in trouble. But I feel like athletes can get discouraged by like maybe the lack of interest that they're getting from college coaches, or you thought by the time you were 14 or 15 years old, you're going to have coaches talking to you about wrestling at their school. And it's not because maybe coaches aren't keeping an eye out on you, which truly they're not looking until after you're older. But in some situations, it's like a coach, no matter how interested they are in you or how amazing, or even if you reach out to them first, they might not even be able to speak to you. Right.
Yeah.
And so I just think like some of the best advice is keep your head down and just keep working. Right. Because they're going to find you if you're really, if you're the one, if you're the best in your area, if you're one of the best in our country, the right programs are going to find you and you're not going to have to go banging down on their door. But even if they're not, hey, put yourself out there a million times and know that you might be one of 30 kids who reached out to that coach that week and they've answering all those emails, right?
Yeah.
But persistence is helpful. I think even though it's funny because on the coaching side, I can already see like how it like gets annoying. But guess what? It's hard to ignore the ones that are persistent, truly.
Yes.
And it's hard to ignore the ones that are doing what they're supposed to. And it's hard to ignore the ones that have a 4.0 GPA. So half of their school's already going to be paid for. And so we only have to fork up so much money. So, I mean, just being able to like do what you're supposed to do and stay persistent and don't panic. I think that's some of the advice that I would give. But
that's where I was going to kind of go into it now, because obviously, I mean, not that you weren't a resource to our organization before, you know, and the kids in Tennessee, but now, you know, it's a whole different perspective now. You know, now you're on a whole different side of the coin, and just kind of what advice you could give to kids. And that way, and honestly, that probably couldn't have been said any better. I mean, and that's, you know, always that's really the same advice that I give. I do a recruiting talk every year with our young kids, and I tell them it's just, you can't get butthurt for coaches not reaching out. You've got to be the one that markets yourself. I mean, you have to be, because a lot of times, I mean, unless you're trying to, I don't know, court an Ohio State who has a staff of 10 people, you know, full staff of coaches, and then all support staff, you know, that helps with recruiting and recruiting coordinator, all this stuff. Those, I mean, yeah, they have time to reply back to all the emails, but like I just said, that was one of three coaches at Cal Poly. I mean, you know, I mean, we don't have time to. It just they don't have enough hours in the day to be able to reply back to every kid that sends an email. But like you just said, and that was the persistent ones, the ones that you can't, are the ones that you can't ignore. They just keep telling you how bad they want to wrestle for you and how much they want your attention, and that's going to tell you a lot about them in the practice room. Okay, I'm not there yet, coach, but how do I get better here? How do I get better here? You're not going to ignore me. I'm going to find out. I'm going to figure out. You're going to tell me how to get better, and I'm going to get better. How am I going to do it? That's because you want on your team.
Yeah.
You know? Not the ones that fall down one time. Oh, that school doesn't want me.
Right. You know? Right. Because that's probably going to translate to who you are as a wrestler too. Right. If you try something at practice once and it doesn't work and then you bail on it, then I mean, how much better are you going to get? But if you're someone who's, I mean, I just really do think persistence is important. Even like talking to right? Paulina, the head coach here at Sacred Heart, she's even like more than once told me, I'm trying to obviously learn all the athletes on the team. I've only gotten to meet a few of them. She's like, man, this person, because I'll ask, like some backstory. She's like, man, this person wasn't really on my radar, or really wasn't going after them, but they wouldn't stop showing up. And now they're one of the best wrestlers on our team. And it's just, and I'm just like, it's kind of funny to think about, but it's just like, right, we've got some intuition, and there's some things that go into like what type of athlete we're looking for. But if you're someone who wants to be somewhere, another piece of advice that I would add is, if you want to be somewhere, don't ask your mommy or daddy to email a head coach or text them.
Exactly.
Sorry if that seems obvious to some of you, but it's really not. And I think as a coach, one of the things that we respect the most is having a young adult, because that's what you are if you're leaving high school and wanting to come into college. And once you come into college, we expect you to act as an adult. Yeah. And so for you to be able to show that you're already there, and that we won't have to raise you, or that your mommy and daddy aren't still trying to raise you on how to handle yourself and conduct yourself, and your mommy and daddy aren't fighting your battles, like, you've got to be someone who's willing to do it. Because when you get to college, there's no one fighting your battles for you, right? Yeah. And so we can just predict that if you don't know how to fight your battles before you get here, that whenever you get here, you're not going to be able to keep your head above water, right? Yeah. Because what you're doing in the wrestling room is it's the easiest part, right? Yeah. If you're not keeping your grades up and staying eligible, if you're not making it to class, at Sacred Heart, actually, if your grades, or at least for our women's program, like if your grades aren't good enough, not even meeting eligibility requirements, we've got our separate expectations for your grades, then you don't come to practice, you go to study hall. And if you're not at practice, you're not getting to get better at wrestling. If you're not getting better at wrestling, you're not wrestling in the lineup, right? Yeah. And so, grades are
just not an asset to the team.
No, now you're just here, and that's not what you came for. That's not what you were, begging us to come to the team for, so you could go to study hall instead of practice. So I just think wrestling, being a great wrestler is an important part of being able to make it to where you want to go, obviously. But I tell you, if you're only focusing on what's happening on the mat and you're not getting a handle of everything else, school, just being able to conduct yourself in a professional, mature manner, right, then you're gonna have trouble. So don't look over school. Don't ask your mom or daddy to text your coach of this college that you want to go to. Please, God, if I give you no more advice, please be good at wrestling and work hard, and don't ever stop working hard, but also be a good student, and also be mature and take initiative.
Yeah. It's so funny that you mentioned that about the parents, because in the world of overbearing parents, because we have them out there, they're it seems like every year, because now it's becoming more financial investment for them too. So I kind of get it from that perspective, is that they invest, they're investing this money all the way through their kids club and their middle school and high school years,
right? Yeah.
And I get it, but at the same time, when they get to college, I remember when we dealt with very few parent issues, because always the first one when we come in, to the program, and we'd have one kid that their parents would call, like the dad would call and say something, he would have a concern, or the mom would call, or whatever. We would call that kid in right away and say, we set him down and say, did your mom just seriously just call us about this, that, or whatever, about something wrestling? Seriously, did they just did you just have your mommy call in, or your daddy? Did that just happen? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
And so that's the way it's looked at when you go to college. They don't want to deal with your parents anymore. That's one of the beauties of coaching at college, because you don't deal with parents anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can practice that on the high school level athletes, right? If there's a conflict with your coach, try and practice. The only way you get good at it is through practice. In the same way that you get better at a high crotch or a single is through practice, right? The only way you get good at handling conflict and speaking to adults and stuff like that is by practicing. So if you've got an issue, if you've got a question at school or with your club team, your high school team, right, try and handle it with your coach. And if you struggle, then invite your mom and dad into it. But it's a skill that's important, and I don't think we talk about it enough. But you've got to be able to have those skills to make it on any college team, let alone a D1 college team. But
yeah. That's a great piece of advice. Honestly, that's a great piece of advice, is learn how to work your own 2 feet there. So you're gonna crush it. You're gonna man. I'm really looking forward to seeing where Sacred Heart goes here in the future, and where your coaching trajectory goes, which is always just gonna be up, and it's awesome. like I said, I know I'm not speaking for just myself. I'm speaking for all of Tennessee. Very, very proud of you. We're very, very blessed to have your services the past year and a half, or whatever it's been here since you've been here. And I know that I'm speaking on the girls that you've come in contact with throughout the state of Tennessee this past year. I know they all feel the same. And yeah, this is just our thank you to you, Kenya.
Well, thanks. Well, my thank you to you personally, and to Tennessee USA Wrestling Organization, and to all the girls that I got to coach, because I mean, this being a part of something good is what's changed my my path and my plans. Right? If I would have been somewhere else and maybe there was a program that wasn't as great, or there were people who made it, a different type of culture, then I might not have even put 2 feet into the coaching world. So, yeah, you guys are definitely a big part of it.
It's fun though. It's so
What'd
much
you
fun.
say?
It's so much fun. That's the thing. It's just like, it's so much fun. I mean, it's, once you get into it, it's just, coaching just, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. I remember one of the things that Esslinger used to tell me all the time. He's like, some days we'd have, man, I just wish I was a janitor. Just went, just went clean floors and not all this stress and dealing with freaking 19, 20-year-old kids. And, our successes are in the palms of their hands and everything else. I go, yeah, it'd be all right. I remember this is one of the few probably one-liners of wisdom I've ever had. I don't have very many of them, but I told him, I said, yeah, that'd be cool and all, but man, I ain't never seen one of those dudes pick up a piece of paper and slam dunk in the trash can and say, yeah, because he was pumped up about it. He's like, yeah, you're right. It's pretty fun. Like, yeah, it's fun. Of course it's fun. It's awesome.
It is.
That's just, it's coaching. It's, it's just, that's why I think that it's a very, very respected position, because it's, because it's one so much, it's so much fun. It's such a, it leaves such a lasting impact.
It's rewarding. Yeah. You get to like give a piece of yourself every single day, whether it be on the phone with a recruit, or on the computer answering compliance emails, or on the mat, or wherever it is. Like, you get every day, though, you're giving a piece of yourself. And to all of us who've been through the sport, like, our lives have changed and our lives are better because of the coaches who gave a little piece of their self every single day. And so to know that we get to like do that also is, I mean, it really is rewarding. So I'm happy I'm here. I'm happy I'm doing it.
Love it. Love it. We're going to end on that. That's awesome, Kenya.
That's good.
So, and we're proud of you. And thank you so much for everything. And I know I'm probably speaking for the rest of it. I mean, speaking for you, I mean, Tennessee USA Wrestling girls, don't be a stranger to Kenya. Pretty good resource you have there.
Oh, please. Yeah.
Crazy. If you want to go wrestle for her, I don't know.
Right.
If you want to wrestle for Coach Kenya again, I don't know. Maybe you might want to work really, really super hard. Go to the really big tournaments. Be successful at wrestling.
Get your grades up.
Get good grades. Be a great kid. I don't know. Might be pretty good motivation there.
There you go. That's our parting advice to you all.
Love it. Love it. All right, Kenya. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Hatch.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining.